Hi, I'm joined by the vocalist and guitarist Ashmedi, who founded the band Melechesh, originating from Israel, but now resides elsewhere on planet Earth. They're soon releasing their sixth album, Enki. Ashmedi, thanks for joining me. How are we?
Oh, doing fine. Just another day doing promotion for the album, and I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's always good. I listened to your latest album today. I fortunately got it before the interview. It's great. I think every album you produce is really different, in a good way. Is that something sort of you intentionally try to harness, or does it sort of fall in place when you write it?
Um, well, basically, the music is honest, and it's always representing us at a certain time period, and just trying to prove we're not a one-trick pony. Every album sounds different. Sounds like Malakesh. Every song sounds different, but sounds like Malakesh. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's what it's all about, being in a metal band. Maybe not repeating yourself too much.
Yeah, definitely. Now, this album's slightly different because it features quite a lot of different guest musicians. You've got Max Cavalera, Sakis Tolis, Rob Caggiano, all on there, and which I kind of find a bit unusual for a black metal band. You often don't find a lot of features. How do those sort of come about?
Well, unusual. I mean, is it usual for a band to come from Jerusalem?
I guess
we
that's
do
true.
things our way. We one magazine said Melkish does it for the book, not by the book. Whatever that means, but we do things our way. I don't, these people are artists, they're musicians, and I like what they do, and I like them as people as well. They're good friends of mine, and I wouldn't have any guests on the album if they didn't have something artistic to deliver. Max is a great vocalist, and the song Lost Tribes needed something very thrashy and deep, which is a contrast of my kind of vocals. And he's been always a great supporter of the band. Rob is an amazing guitar player, and I needed a different approach to the guitars to a specific song, which is the Palm the Eye and Lapis Lazuli. And Sarkis is just a good friend of mine, man, and he's a great singer. We were in Athens, Greece, recording the album, so he came to the studio and did his vocal parts. Him and I, we toured in the States for like 5 weeks with tour bus together. So,
Awesome.
you build this friendship and stuff like that. And, yeah. Everything we do is just like our way, I guess. Choices of studios and stuff like that. And, so if it's unusual, I mean, it makes sense, I guess, with us.
You mentioned the choice of studio. You recorded this album in Greece, and the last one you recorded in Turkey. Do you think recording albums in different environments adds a different dimension to the albums you record?
Perhaps, yes. I mean, we're living in Northern Europe, and I'm still a guy who likes the sun. I always even say Malkish is like a solar energy band. Since we started in Jerusalem, and I've lived around the world. I lived in Senegal, in Africa. I lived in Los Angeles and Miami. I always lived in like sunny places. Suddenly I'm in Northern Europe. It's a rainy place, and it's no problem. It keeps you indoors so you can compose more. But when I recorded, I wanted somewhere Mediterranean. And I felt quite at home in Athens, to be honest. People were fantastic, very welcoming. I like the culture there. It does rub on. You feel better when you're doing the music, I suppose. And again, it's very unusual for a band to do these things, like a band to fly from Northern Europe or Central Europe to Turkey or to Greece to record. It's usually the other way around. But, we were confident that we just needed a place to record that could record our music. If we're in the right state of mind, the album might turn out better. It got mixed in Sweden, and it's all over. We rehearsed it in Germany, so it's all over the place.
It's an
We
international
spent like
album.
a month in Germany rehearsing. What?
It's an international album.
Well, I always say I'm from planet Earth, so that's my country. It doesn't matter which corner of it, and I do not recognize international borders made by people. I think they're idiotic.
Fair enough. Now, all your albums have received great reviews. I think this album is set to receive similar sort of status. Is there ever a fear that something might not go down as well?
Yeah, there's always the stress. Like, I remember we had a breakthrough album. It was our our third album, and everybody's writing good stuff about it. And then I'm like, wow, that's great. After a while, I'm like, what am I gonna do now? You gotta make even better or do your best, and it kind of paralyzes you at first. And you toss and turn, sleepless nights. Really, it's quite a mental process, to be honest. And this is very intimate what I'm saying because not a lot of musicians talk about it.
Mm.
It is a very I don't know. It's a hard process on the person. It makes you go crazy, I guess. But then you just say, hey, I'm a musician. I'm just gonna play music and be honest about it. Whatever happens, happens. And the less chains and rules I adhere to, the better the music is turning out. And maybe that's why we're on an upward skew. I hope I can keep it up. Don't get me more nervous now. I won't write another album.
Oh, I think you're more than capable, to be honest. Now, I've read a couple. Now I've read a couple of things. You use the term Mesopotamian metal and Sumerian black thrashing metal to describe your sound. However, I often find the term Oriental metal used, which I know you're not comfortable with, and it's kind of something which a lot of people would, in any other context, would sort of seem as old-timey, sort of a little bit offensive, used in any other sort of context. Why do you think people still use it when referring to your music?
I don't know, man. I mean, music, these are words. They're completely different things, but when you type things and when you talk, you need some words to identify. But in the end, it's music. So I'm not comfortable with Oriental metal. I mean, because when I order Oriental food, it's not the same thing. It's like Japanese or something. So I think it's a colonial term, where the world was divided to Occident and Orient. And it does. I did a lot of research. It does differ in meaning per language. Like in German, when you see Orient, for them it's Middle East. But in English, it could be anything,
Yeah, it often refers to the entire
the
East.
eastern side. That's why I never got into that term. And besides, Mesopotamian metal, I coined that term just to give an idea what kind of themes we have in the music. But in the end, it's just music,
Definitely.
Extreme metal music or rock oriented. When I say rock oriented, that means guitar, drums, bass, playing those kind of riffs and developing it, of course, into a heavier type of music.
Yeah. Something I noticed that in both this and your last two albums, you often have a softer traditional sort of song before a final heavier song. Now that's something I don't think I've seen, because generally bands tend to have a soft song or a very heavy song sort of leading into, and it's all rising up. Why did you sort of tend to go with that arrangement of tracks?
It felt like it, I guess. I just wanted something, the last song, The Outsider, builds up from almost psychedelic rock or just traditional rock to extreme metal. And it's almost like a jam session. But to be into that mood, I wanted to put something before it, And also it goes with the titles. In a way, they work together. The Outsiders go with Urkala, which is the underworld, which could be not the underworld, but somewhere else, maybe out of this world, another planet. So I felt it works. It gives you a breather, and then you listen to the last epic song, which is quite long, and it just turned out that way, But as for the traditional piece, yeah, I mean, we play those instruments, and we had a guest as well, and we noticed we had a lot of good feedback to this kind of music. It's similar to Sufi music, or it's meditative, and it's not so easy for the average metalhead to encounter it because it's not so commercial, this kind of music, So we like to compose it, And we say if we existed in the past, or if there's no more electricity, I guess we can still compose music,
Yeah, definitely. It's not music I would normally listen to, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it really makes interesting addition to the album. I think it sort of explores some really cool things. Now, finally, I don't know as yet there are any news about touring. Is there any indication about whether you might come down to Australia during the next few years?
No, we're touring a lot. Last album we did like 8 tours. We're already booked to do a tour in Europe, and we're talking about touring North America. Unfortunately, we haven't been approached yet to tour in Australia. We'd love to be honest.
Mm.
My grandma is buried in Melbourne, so I'd like to even go pay my respects. I never had the chance to. So, it would be also something extra, something I gotta do. But, yeah, I mean, we haven't given an offer, nothing solid at least. So, yeah, we're open for the idea, to be honest. If it falls in the right period, because, it's quite busy here for us in Europe and the States. We do a lot of shows.
Of course.
So, yeah, we'd love to come.
Well, definitely hope you get the opportunity. So the album is called Enki. It's coming out February 27th. The band is Melechesh, and I've been talking with Ashmedi. Ashmedi, thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Likewise.